Definition of Hyperion Essbase. We'll be talking about Hyperion Essbase is a multi-dimensional database, or Hyperion Essbase is a OLAP server. So before we start Hyperion Essbase, we should be knowing these two keywords: what is multi-dimensional database, or what is OLAP server, right? So now we are a single line definition of Hyperion Essbase. Hyperion Essbase is multi-dimensional database and OLAP server. And you guys know what is database, right? Database is simply and simplest way, it's a repository which stores the data, right? So typical databases are Oracle, DB2, SQL Server. These are typical databases. Okay, these are relational database. But whereas your Essbase is not relational database, is multi-dimensional database. So it is different from traditional database. How it is different from traditional database? Let's see. So before we start any other thing, let's see what does it mean by multi-dimensionality and how does it integrate with your database. Let's take one real-time scenario. Okay. When you talk about analysis is always we perform analysis based on certain numerics. Let's take very simple example. I have a shop and I record my daily transaction in a sheet. So, at the end of the day, when I close my shop, I perform some kind of analysis or some kind of basic operation I perform. I want to say the total sales or total amount or total quantity I sold for a certain product. If I say that one product A has been sold 2 times, I want to see the total quantity of the product. So total sales, I can simply find the sum of it. So,
Okay.
So why I'm showing you this example? This example shows any kind of analysis in the world, any kind of analysis or data warehouse term emerge from, or business intelligence term emerge from word analysis. Any kind of analysis is categorized into 2 ways. First, I'm analyzing my total sales of all products. I want to analyze total sales of product A, or total sales of product A. Total sales of product A is 50 plus 120. 50 plus, let's say, the total sales of analysis of A product is 50 plus 60, 110. So my question is, when I close my shop, I perform some kind of basic analysis. Total amount I sold for the whole day, and total revenue, total quantity, total amount I sold for a certain product. So this kind of analysis consists of 2 things. First thing, I used dimension, or I analyzed my business line, which is product, and I want to do analysis of total amount, which is, this one is number, I'll make it yellow, and this one is my characters or string. So if I do any kind of analysis, it consists of 2 things. It consists of business line, which is product here, and it consists of numerics. So all kind of analysis we perform on numerics, which are corresponding to a business line or business member. So product is a business member. There could be 100 comment analysis. Now this is very preliminary example. Now let's see detailed example of the same. Okay. Now I'm talking about 2-dimensional view to the data. In the previous example we have seen analysis mean performing certain aggregation, performing certain mathematical operation, like I am performing sum of all the total amount, performing sum on the total amount of certain business element. Product name is a business element. Similarly, if I assume this, see this example is showing two-dimensional view to the data. After reading this example, I come to know what is dimension means and what does it mean by multi-dimension. See, this example says I have a couple of cities, 5 cities, and the quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, these are 4 timelines. And this some numeric shows, if I see this numeric, what does it say? It says the total sales. What does this diagram says? I'm showing my data based on the city and based on time dimension, based on time. So if I see this point says total sales made, the total sales made for California in quarter 1. Okay, so suppose I have I have a shop in which I am supplying products to multiple cities for multiple, for the span of time, for the entire year. So when I see this data, it shows it shows the total sales in quarter 1 in California. So what is important thing here? If I do perform any kind of analysis consists of two things: business element, where business element is city here, and quarter 1, and my data is 3000. So when I say multi-dimensional view, it's 2D view, more than one view. What are 2 dimension, or how I am seeing my business data? This is my business data. I'm seeing my business data based on time, which is quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and I'm seeing my business data based on city. So when I see my business data from multiple business elements, multiple business lines, multiple business angle, this is called multi-dimensional view of business data. In this example, I'm seeing my business data, which is 3000, which is total sales made in quarter 1 and California. So dimension is a view, how you view, a view from which you navigate your data. So 2D view is one dimension is quarter, another dimension is California. So it's multi-dimensional view to my business data. So Essbase allows me to navigate business data from multiple dimensions to perform easy analysis. The simplest definition we say Essbase is OLAP server or multi-dimensional database. Dimension is a business view. Business view, when you need navigate your business data from multiple business view, we call multi-dimensional. Okay, and dimension here is quarter and city. This is 2-dimensional view of the data. A typical relational database shows your data in tabular format. This is tabular. This is tabular navigation of your data because it consists of your rows and column, right? This consists of your rows and columns. These are the columns and these are the rows. So a traditional database like Oracle DB2 or relational database consists of your tabular view, whereas multi-dimensional data view we call tabular because it is in terms of tables, whereas multi-dimensional database consists of dimensions. The dimension is here city and time. So if you see very broader view of the difference between your typical relational database and your Essbase is multi-dimensional view. Dimension first is city, second is time, whereas your typical relational database stores data in a tabular form. This is logical representation. This is how your relational database stores data. This is how your Essbase stores the data.